Welcome back. This is part 2 in my series on why does the Mercedes E550 eat front brakes? And some of you are going to say, what do you mean eat front brakes? Well, if you go on to a lot of the forums, you poke around the internet, you're going to find out that people that own these cars have had problems with the front brakes. And if you've read the comments in part 1, you know people are saying, well, about every 10,000 miles, I have to take it back into the dealer. And of course, they put on OE, genuine Mercedes rotors, pads. I go back out another 10,000 miles, it's starting to shudder. I take it back to the dealer. One guy says, I can't even get an answer from them why this is happening. We got some great comments. Some of you, I think, were thinking critically as you thought through how can we solve this problem. I think my favorite comment was a guy, he said, short answer. I drive my E550 like I'm a menace to society. That's why my brakes wear out. And if you've driven one of these, you can laugh because you know the tendency to drive these hard. They just want to go fast. In fact, I kind of want to call this car Giggles too. I already have an AMG that I call Giggles. Why do I call it Giggles? Because every time you punch it, you go, you kind of giggle. And that's the same with these 550. When you punch this thing, you start giggling, I guarantee it. If you're going fast, you're going to have to stop quick sometimes too. So that could be a problem, right? Other comments, they were more opinion than fact. So in this video, I want to separate some fact from opinion. And the first fact that I think we can all agree on, that this problem is caused by heat. Number one, it's caused by heat. You look at the rotors, you look at the cracks in the pads, you know we have excessive heat here, and it's not dissipating properly, okay? Maybe, like one guy said, maybe the driver drives with left foot braking. Well, I could see that be a problem. But if that were a problem, specifically here, why would the inside be in such worse condition than the outside? Okay, so that's something we need to think about critically. The second fact is that this is a common problem. It's not some rare occurrence with E550 owners. And if you look at the comments here, just a few comments, you find out people who have owned these cars have had to resort to other measures than going back to the dealer and having the dealer replace the parts with OE parts. So in light of that, I think fact number 3 is that genuine Mercedes parts are not necessarily the best here. So to begin, let's talk about these rotors here. We've already discussed this problem of this pad material getting actually welded onto the face of this rotor. And you look at this replacement I'm going to put on, and some of you are going to look at these holes and say, oh, I just hate drilled rotors. Drilled rotors are the problem here. If you didn't have drilled rotors, you wouldn't have any problem at all. Okay, is that a fact or is that an opinion? I've been using drilled rotors for years on other cars. Sometimes I never see any problem at all. This is kind of new right here. Seeing this amount of pad material getting embedded on the inside of this rotor here. But just to say that, oh, it's the rotor's fault, well, I'm not sure about that. Then we look at the pad and you say, oh, you're using cheap pads. Well, these are OE Akibono. These are not cheap pads. But obviously, for some reason, they don't appear to be doing the job. So let's talk about the usual suspects, as some of you mentioned in your comments in part 1. And that's if you got one pad that is wearing faster than the other, it means you probably have a sticking piston in one side of the caliper. Now, this is a different caliper, but the principles are the same. This is an older 2-piston caliper. What I do to check the consistency of how these are pressed in is I use this tool here, and I use this tool on the E550 when I compress the pistons, and I just move it like this. These are already in, but you're going to get the idea. And you can slowly rotate this, and you can watch. And if you have one piston that's sticking, it won't go in as fast as the other side, or it's going to not move at all. And so the case with the E550 was, hey, you know, they both went in perfectly smooth, both sides. All 4 pistons went in together. So that's not the issue with this E550. Also, some of you talked about the flexible brake hose. That's true on these older models. When you get a flexible brake hose that's deteriorating internally, you're going to have excessive pad wear. But usually if that's the case, you'll have excessive pad wear on both pads. So I've ruled that out as well. I just shared with you some facts. From here on out, most of what I'm going to share with you now is opinion or thought or speculation, okay? My first speculation is differential braking. We have here in the front a huge Brembo caliper supplied to Mercedes-Benz, which has 4 pistons. One of these single pistons is larger than the piston on the rear caliper. The rear caliper only has 1 piston. So if you understand some of the principles of braking force kinetics, you know when you apply heavy braking, you get the weight moving forward. So could it be that the differential braking between the front and the rear is not correct? Okay, that's a speculation. And if that's true, that means you're going to build up excessive heat because most of the braking in this E550 may be done on the front brake. I want to take a close look at this front brake caliper and the brake parts associated with it. Now think heat. We're thinking heat through this whole video. But in particular, we're thinking about what are some ways we can reduce heat. When I pulled these pads out of this caliper, this is what I discovered. So this is how these pads move inside this caliper. And it's a fairly tight fit. And you can see that this is pretty snug. There's a lot of crud down here on the bottom and on the top. So if these are sticking, that means the pad is going to be dragging on the brake, which of course causes more heat. We're looking here for ways that we can reduce heat. So I will completely clean these, even polish these grooves and make sure the new pads slide easily in here. And when I install them, I will use high quality, high temp ceramic brake pad grease right here. And hopefully that'll eliminate some of that problem with sticking pads that won't retract after heavy braking. When I removed the rotor, something caught my eye and I thought, you know, this thing is really tight fitting. When you see how close the brake rotor, you can see it fits right up against here, real close. Now think about it. You come to a heavy braking stop, maybe you've been driving in rain, you have wetness back here, and all of a sudden you stop and you hold hard on the brake, and where's all that heat going to go? Where's the moisture going to go that's probably going to turn to steam? So I don't particularly like this. There's not enough ventilation between the brake rotor and this backing plate. Now I know you need a backing plate to keep junk and dust off your rotor. It's going to wear out that inside brake pad. I know one person said, well, just take this off. Well, I don't know about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to modify this. I'm going to try to make some cuts in it to provide some scoops that can maybe pick up some air as you're driving and also let this vent more quickly after you do some heavy braking. Now, what I did to this backing plate, I can't say, yeah, this is going to work. That's an opinion because I don't have any tests on it. But in theory, it should be a lot better than it was. I could not believe how tight this backing plate fit up against the back of the rotor. And so look what I did here. I decided to open up a slot here and open up a slot there to get some airflow coming in. You can see the slots. I wanted to keep as much of the backing plate on here. And then look what I did here in the back. I bent this, and when I install this, before I put on the rotor, I'm going to make sure this is bent out a little bit. So I get a little bit more airflow and air escape right in through here because that was really tight up against the disc originally. So hopefully this is going to help. We're talking about trying to do a number of things that will help reduce heat, particularly on the back side of the rotor. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that just going back continually to OEM parts may not be the answer. I'm not going to use OE rotors. I'm not going to use, these were OE, right there, Mercedes Star. These were OE pads, and you can see how they're all cracked. That's a great indication of excessive heat. And of course, this is the one that was depositing all its material on the face of the backside of this rotor here. So instead, I'm going to use a quality aftermarket. This is a high-performance centric rotor. Look at the nice cross-hatching in the face there. Fully coated rotor. And I'm going to use Techstar brake pads. I've had good success with Techstar brake pads. So it's kind of late in the game, but I need to report a change. I've decided not to use the Techstar premium ceramic pads. I had some reservation about them because they're all ceramic. Ceramic does not dissipate heat as well as semi-metallic. And I did some more research and I decided to use Ferrotto pads out of Europe. These have a great reputation, particularly in the racing community. I had already installed the Techstars because these arrived late. But when I went into the warehouse today and I picked these up, I immediately knew that I was going to use these pads instead. The weight, I mean, I can literally tell the difference in weight just by picking these up, which of course means more mass and better heat dissipation, correct? So if you look at the pad, I call these granola pads because they have about everything in them except the kitchen sink, okay? But you can see the difference in consistency there. You won't be able to feel the weight, but at this point, I've decided I want a pad that can really dissipate heat, and these have a reputation for doing just that. So we're going to install these pads right here instead. And another point I'd like to make regarding this front caliper versus the rear caliper. If you're changing your front pads, be sure and change your rear pads. Okay, you can see that the rear pads on this car almost down to the sensor. So it's obvious when he had these new rotors and Akebono pads installed in the front, he did not replace the rear pads. I'm ready to install the wheels back on this E550, and I thought I'd come back and kind of review what I've done here. I was pretty meticulous and careful when I did this today, installing these revisions on this front rotor. So I want to just review those before we finish up. So in summary, I installed centric high-performance brake rotors. And then I installed the new generation brake pads. I can't say that these are the best pads ever because I haven't used them before. Here's some modification to this backing plate. Along with these scoops I cut out, notice how I bent it back away where I could. Then I bent out these two corners so I could get good flow coming out this side. And then when I installed the pads, I used high quality Permatex silicone ceramic extreme brake pad lubricant, and that was what went on the edges of the pads along with the pins. Any moving part, don't put this on the face of the brake pads, of course. When I pulled these rotors off, there's a lot of rust in here, so I put a little bit of copper anti-seize compound on the face, clean this all up. I'm going to be excited, as you will be, to see what this whole setup looks like in 6 months. So along with those revisions I made to the factory brakes, I may revise my driving habits. Am I going to be a menace to society? Well, maybe not so much. But if I do end up braking really hard, either going down a long grade or in a panic stop, then I'm going to change my behavior a little bit, okay? I'm not going to come to an abrupt stop and hold the brakes hard. Maybe that's one reason why that pad material was transmitted on to the rotor in the first place. Everything's so hot and you just reef on the brakes and hold them tight and, oh, goodbye, there goes a little pad material. So in the future, I'm just gonna come down, brake hard, then I'll stay back far enough away so I just kind of roll forward a little bit and keep moving to let the brakes cool down. Be very careful about putting it on automatic hold after heavy braking, because that also could be a problem here. Now, that's an opinion. I don't have any proof it's a problem, but it is going to be something I'm going to do to modify my braking behavior a little bit. So is this going to work? Is this the best setup? I hope so, but I won't know until I drive this car. And I think what I'll do is come back in 4 to 6 months when I have enough mileage on this E550. We'll pull the wheels off and we'll take a look together to see whether or not I was successful.